Around the world, been around. I said I've been around the world. Yeah. Zusa, Ty Harris, Carolina Nightmare. I'm going all in, ain't a waste time. Yeah, I'm a grind hard, I gotta get mine. If I'm popping on the gram, bitch, I'm going live. Play this shit everywhere, we going worldwide. I'm going all in, ain't a waste time. Yeah, I'm a grind hard, I gotta get mine. If I'm popping on the bull, bitch, I'm going live. Play this shit everywhere, we going
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into the Not Yet Famous podcast. I am your host, Mr. Jeff Motzinger from Torenzo Brands, with my very special co-host.
It's your boy Craig. This is C Izar for short. Don't matter what you call me, as long as you call me by my name and we good. What's good, peoples?
So tonight is a very special episode. As we mentioned on Facebook, unfortunately, Travion was unable to make it on this episode, some personal issues. I wish him a speedy recovery to him and his family. So with that being said, tonight is going to be about us. We are going to talk about us, which
about
is
me and you, Jeff.
Something I don't like to do. I don't like to talk about myself, but you know, it will make for a good episode, I believe.
It's pretty straight. I can talk about myself. I don't mind that. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, I'm pretty interested in a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I guess you're all right.
People tell me that I'm interesting. Sometimes I feel like I'm not, but yeah, my niece think I'm dope. You know what I'm saying?
So tonight's format's going to be a little bit different, as mentioned. You know, I'm going to talk about myself. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am as a professional, how I got started. We'll then go into Mr. Craig. He's going to tell you all about him. And then we will ask a few questions that both of us will answer. And for anybody watching, if you want to pop in with some questions, we will be happy to answer them.
Hit us with those questions. I'll answer anything, almost anything. So I shouldn't have said it that confident.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said anything.
I shouldn't have said it that confident, though.
You did. You said it very
you know
like, and then they're going to ask you something, and you're going to be like,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But, of course, as always, I always make sure to say this. If you are a musician, entertainer, and you want to be a guest on the podcast, you want to submit your music to the podcast, or, of course, advertise, because first of the year, we will switch over to strictly YouTube. We will start incorporating two advertisers for each episode. And big shout out to Ty Harris with Carolina Nightmare with Worldwide. That is the official theme song for the Not Yet Famous podcast.
Shout out Ty Harris, boy. It was good.
And, of course, I want to give a big shout out to the Smoke and Jerk food truck. They're based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And I just saw him again today. He was over in the south end side of Charlotte with his food truck. They were at a softball tournament. He'll be in Charlotte again tomorrow over at Mallard Creek Rec Center.
And his food is fire, too. I'll tell you one thing. We got them wings from during Raleigh Day. And joints was fire.
Well, he had me try some pulled pork fries today.
Pulled pork fries?
And videotape me eating it.
You're going to have to explain that, though. Pulled pork fries?
Yeah, so it's got like pulled pork, and it's all fries, and it's just piled on top of each other.
Southern shit right
It is, but it was delicious. I felt fatter as soon as I started eating it.
Well,
but that's okay. That's all right.
You already know how my joke is about to go.
But that's all right. When you accept it and you own up to it, it makes it a little more real.
Word.
So a big shout out to him. He's got a video clip of me eating them, which I'm sure will go online, which I'm scared to see. So getting into the topic of myself, I've been working with musicians for almost 20 years now.
Damn, Jeff, has been that long?
It has. 2001 was when I started, and my first group.
Before you get started, let me ask you, what made you want to get started in the hip-hop field? You know what I'm saying? Because like I always tell you, Jeff, like, you actually have a lot of talent that you could have taken, you know, different people in different genres to a different level. So what made you want to come into hip-hop and do what you've been doing in the hip-hop field? So
that's an interesting question, and obviously getting into the story would actually give a little bit more understanding as to why. So I started with a boy group, and this was back when NSYNC was real big, Backstreet Boys. I was big on putting together events for charity. Came across these guys. They actually helped out with being the entertainment for a charity event that I was doing. And I just enjoyed the idea of managing a musician. Those guys were called Diversity. Unfortunately, they ended up disbanding.
It's rough.
It is rough. It's real out there, though. That's the way it goes. But the producer they were working with decided to keep me on, and that gentleman's name was Scott Bell.
Word.
Um,
Shout out to Scott Bell.
Scott Bell, who would later become AJ Case.
Okay.
He was the first hip hop artist that I ever worked with, and really inspired me to work with hip hop and R&B, and showed me that there was such passion and drive within that genre. You know, that they wanted it more than anybody.
Yeah, man.
And this mic does not want to stay still, apparently. If anybody watching on the camera, y'all see that it keeps sliding.
Got to tighten it up, Jack.
I got to do better now. But, of course, you know, Scott started working with me. And, you know, he kind of molded me. He was a professional songwriter back then. And he wrote...
Still is.
And still is. And still does his thing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he molded me and shaped me into the manager I am today. He really taught me about taking care of the artist and pushing them as hard as you could. So we worked together for about 5 years. Everyone knows I always tell the story that he sold 100,000 records independently. You know, and it really showed me that you can do it without the label. You know,
Definitely.
Back then, there wasn't the independent movement there is now. So,
you said that was about 20 years ago?
Yeah.
So it was probably about around like 2005?
Yeah.
2020, between 2000 and 2005 when you worked with AJ Case?
Yep.
All right, cool. And then when did he sell those 100,000 records?
So that was between the time of 2001 when we started working together to about 2006.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely around
That was when the MySpace was big, you know, and
yeah,
you literally had to go out and pass out CDs.
Yeah,
you had to do it hand to hand.
That was around time where like the major record labels was like really on fire, like Rockefeller, you know, Bad Boy. You had Cash Money about to get into their second run, so it was like, yeah, all the independent artists wasn't even as popping as they are now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
So I mean, that was an interesting run with him, and then we parted ways. We're still friends to this day. Big shout out to him. He's still doing it.
Actually, was what number guest?
He was at number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, I think he came on the same.
That
was when we had a whole bunch of tech issues. We were still trying to get it.
But hey, you know what I'm saying? Look where we at now, man.
And he knows he's always welcome to come back now that we got everything rocking and rolling. But, you know, 2006 rolls around. We parted ways. I decided to open a company called Miroscope Entertainment. Which
never heard about that one.
Which transitions. Yeah, it transitions to meaning to search for the brightest star at its highest point.
Word.
Which, you know, obviously had meaning. So I managed artists for about 3 years under that brand, which brought me to around 2009 when I decided to go to school.
Yep.
I had already understood the business. I understood marketing and managing artists, but I really wanted to diversify and expand my knowledge base, which is why I decided to go to Living Arts College. Mm-hmm. And although, my opinion, their accreditation is worthless, and that's my opinion, obviously, you know, the experience of, you know, working with Jim Elantini, Jason Richmond, Craig Brenuine, who else we got?
Was it like Josh Taylor?
John Taylor.
John Taylor, yeah.
Yeah, you know, all these guys really taught me a lot of information about the recording aspect of it.
Yep.
That I didn't know, and I still use a lot of that information today.
To this day.
You know,
especially when you're trying to manage artists and they come to you and they don't necessarily know how to record or anything like that. So being a manager, especially if you're in those spaces, you can set your artists up to where they can be successful when it comes to them recording or being around other producers or mixers and things that they actually didn't know. Yeah. You being a manager, having that knowledge could definitely help them out.
Well, it helps a lot today in articulating when we're in the studio. What are some of the things that I want improved on to the engineer that's in the studio, which has been very helpful. Not to mention going to that school, you know, allowed me to interact with people that I had never met before. Mm-hmm. And some of my closest friends to this day I met
in college,
at that school.
Yeah, I feel you. That's same thing here, man.
College, honestly, I feel like college is not about education. It's about the connections and the bonds that you create with people there.
That makes sense.
That are a lifetime. And, of course, you know, during that school time, you know, that's when Not Yet Famous came around. Yeah. And that's when I started that. And
actually, it feels like the Not Yet Famous brand was there before you started college, because I started college around the same time that you did. I'm not sure if I was there before you or if you got there before me, but we ended up showing up at the same time, and you already had that, going? It seemed like you had already put on like one or two events.
Yeah, because it started in 2010.
Okay.
And I was midway through that college bracket. And, I put it on because, there wasn't a lot of professionally executed concert series for independent artists. There was a lot of showcases, there was a lot of open mics, but nothing that was professionally put together as a full-length concert.
Yeah.
And, it really took off, and it went on from being a localized Raleigh, North Carolina show to Atlanta, to Myrtle Beach, different parts of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It branched off, and, unfortunately in 2014 and 2013, I lost my dad and my stepdad.
Sorry about that, man.
Which, anybody can tell you if you've lost a parent, it's impactful.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes a big impact on your life. And it really had me reflective on, what I wanted out of the business, what I wanted out of my life. And so I took a long break, from the business. And, coming back in around 2019 is when I decided to open up Torenzo Entertainment at the time. And, of course, it has since transitioned to Torenzo Brands. And then, to an exclusive booking agency with management services as well. And, of course, due to COVID, it slowed everything down, which, ultimately had to bring the podcast.
Definitely.
And so here we are. That's
Yep.
a brief rundown.
Mm-hmm.
As a manager for musicians and a booking agent, we are an integral part of the business.
Definitely. Yeah, without you guys, there wouldn't be a lot of people who would not be seen in certain places. They wouldn't be booked for certain shows. And, just having that backing behind them of someone who knows what they're doing and how to navigate through the industry to get them where they need to be. So, yeah, you're definitely right.
So, that's a brief rundown of me. A lot of people know who I am in the sense of they know that I've been working with musicians a long time. But now is the official, that is the official story. That is the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. Now, as far
so
as
now it's the pressure is on you.
Ain't no pressure over here, man. Like, everything is all good over here. Like, I've always been in music my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I come from Astoria, Queens. Shout out to Astoria, AQ, all day, Iraq, stand up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I happened to move down south because my mother wanted to change, the environment that I was in. Because where I come from is like really rough. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who don't make it. There's a lot of people who get caught up in the streets. A lot of people get caught up on drugs and get caught up with the gangs and things like that. So my mom's wanted to have a different environment for me. So when she moved me down south around like 2005, it was the best thing that could happen to me. Because first of all, like I said, I could have been in any one of those situations still living in New York. I wouldn't even, know where I'm at now if I was still there. But moving down south was just like a big eye-opener for me. So good thing I was one of the smart ones who actually noticed the opportunity that I had. And I decided, like, all right, I'm going to take this opportunity and just actually, try to stay in school or try to move in a certain way to where I wouldn't be doing the same things that I would have been caught up doing in New York City. Because it's so easy to move to a different city, but it's even harder to try to not to engage in the same things that you've been doing, most of your life. So when I moved down south, it was just like I said, an eye opener, and I just started high school. And midway through high school, my mom got sick. She ended up getting sick with breast cancer. You know what I'm saying? So like halfway through high school, I really couldn't focus on school the way that I wanted to because, I was like the sole caretaker of my mom. Like just was taking care of her every day. I had to work.
Yeah, I recall that a lot during college.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to take her back and forth to chemotherapy, to radiation. And this is the time I'm like 16, 17, my junior year, senior year high school. And like actually because of that situation, like I couldn't finish high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I was taking my mom back and forth to chemotherapy 4 days a week and then radiation on Fridays. And then the only way that I would make it to school is I would get to school late through the Monday through Thursday. And then Friday, like I had like a free day. Like because my good thing, my niece's mom, she used to help me out and take care of my mom on Fridays and things like that. So Fridays I had a full day, and then I got to a point where my principal just came to me like, look, you can't do this. Like she didn't even like try to ask me what's going on or what's your situation, why you're not coming to school every day on time, why you're only here for half a days, things like that. And they basically told me that I couldn't come back to the school, but me being who I am and me trying to stay ahead of the curve, I already knew that I wasn't going to make it out of high school. So I had started already getting my GED. So good thing by the time in 2008, by the time my class graduated, I was able to get my GED, and then that's when I found Living Arts College. Now, just to step back, with me being in school, the times that I was there, I actually found a program called Fruity Loops, which everybody knows what Fruity Loops is.
Everyone watching knows what that program.
I was about 16. That's what started my journey on music production, because like I said, I was always into music my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I always loved, rap, R&B. I tried transitioning into listening to other music, but like as I got older, that's when it came a little bit more for me. But I always loved rap and R&B, how people put lyrics together, how people put songs together, how people put production together. Like I was one of those kids, when I got an album, I pulled the book out the album, I read the credits, I looked who the producer was, I looked where they recorded at studios and things like that. So like I was really always intrigued. So when I found the program Fruity Loops, I realized like, okay, I can do this myself. And from then, that's when I just started looking up, like what can I do after high school? I didn't want to just, be working and then being in the neighborhood I was in Concord. Like where I stayed at was pretty okay, but it was like, I just don't want to be hanging around here after high school, just like not doing nothing. So I found Living Arts College 2008, and that's where I started going. And that's where I met, as you said, some of my closest friends. Shout out to my homie TK. Shout out to my homeboy Mateo. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my homeboy Germs. Shout out to my homeboy Bogey. And shout out to my homeboy, who else am I forgetting? Ty Harris, definitely. And Jeff, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of y'all that I met there that really, helped me, hone in my craft of being an audio producer. You know what I'm saying? Because I never seen myself as being a rapper. My older brother was a rapper. He had, the gift of gab of putting lyrics together and things like that. I was more musical and things like that. So me getting to school really helped me, hone in on producing and things like that. So since then, I just, try to graduate college. I still take care of my mom's, you know what I'm saying? She got a lot of things that she has been going through, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to be there for her and just trying to keep my foot forward. And now with the opportunity you done gave me, there's plenty other opportunities you done gave me, but now we're here as far as, this podcast, man.
And we kill it every week.
Yeah, we do.
We learn it along the way.
Trust me, we do our thing.
We learn it along the way.
Definitely.
That's for sure. There's a lot that we still don't know, but we're learning every single day with doing this podcast.
And to me, it's pretty easy, man, because you make it easy, Jeff. Like I just come here, I sit down, I talk to people.
Yeah, everything's already set up when you get here.
Hey, and you can't say that I don't.
You offer.
Ask and offer, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's the good thing. That's the thing about you, Jeff, that I know you probably understand it, but just in case you don't, like you always put other people in a position to where they can succeed. You always take, the brunt force of everything. Like you took it upon yourself to have all the stuff ready for me to just come up. You're like, yo, just be my co-host. You don't need to do anything. And that's just genuinely who you've been since I met you. I remember when you had that one concert for the Not Yet Famous. Like, you've only known me for a couple of months, and you just like, hey, come on, I just want your help. No, you didn't even ask him for help. You was like, I just want you to be a part of this. Like, yo, just come help me put on this concert. And that was like the only concert that I ever put on, but like it was a success. I got a lot of knowledge from that, dealing with artists, dealing with, having to make sure, the tickets is right, the artist is taken care of, the crowd needs to be there, and everybody being checked at the door. A lot of things that I never experienced before, you gave me the opportunity to be a part of. So, appreciate that.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how many moving parts there really are to those things.
Yeah, for real,
man. And I think, a lot of people coming to the 919 day realized that. Like, they started really understanding, how much it took.
Well, to tell you the truth,
like
I watched a couple of things about the 919 day, and I seen one artist say that, like, nobody was really there to be prepared. Like, as an artist, and I'm not an artist at all. Like, I'm just a producer, but I always like to be prepared for when I have people come through and try to work with me and things like that. Like, I try to have, the session up, try to have the music ready, try to have, the mic up and things like that. So I feel like if you're an artist and you're trying to go perform and somebody's taking their time to put together a project, a platform for you to showcase your art, you need to be there on time to do them sound checks. You need to stand around to make sure if they need you for certain things. You can't be just, dipping off, going to the mall to go shopping so that you can possibly make it back on time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, from some of the things that I've heard people say from, 919 Raleigh Day, it was like, that was one of the main issues with a lot of the artists. Like, they just wasn't there to, you know, get their spots checked in, to do their sound check. And then, you know, certain people ran a little bit later, or they had to transition artists to different spots so everybody couldn't perform. But I think that's just what being a professional, period. You just have to show up, be on time, and just, you know, do your part. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and, you know, I think that's one of the hardest things for entertainers nowadays is to realize that it does take a professional mindset to be successful. You know, there's great curators out there and other podcast hosts, and, you know, people ask me all the time why we don't do a music review. I really don't feel like there's a need, you know, for us to do that, because you have people like Coco Filipina that's doing Turn Tuesdays. Shout out to Coco. You know, you have Miriam doing Soundcheck Sundays where she's reviewing music. You know, two people right there that their opinion means a lot. You know, they're both out mainstream, you know, in front of people, in front of major people. So I think their feedback is important and valuable, and everybody should take a listen to that. They are not hesitating to tell you the truth. You know, that was the one thing that I've noticed over the last 5 years, is that even though everybody was very outspoken back then, you know, when I started, and they would tell people, you know, hey, this isn't very good. You need to, you know, try something different. You know, nowadays, everybody's got an opinion and their voices matter, but yet nobody will tell somebody when they suck.
Yeah, I feel you. And to tell you the truth, for a long time as an audio engineer, I used to be sitting there listening to records like, yo, why would, as an engineer, would you even let this person record that in your studio? But I'm starting to realize that it's not my job to tell anybody about what they're trying to bring into the studio and record. My job is to get it laid down and to get it sounding as best as possible. So, like, a music review wouldn't really do good for me, because, like, I'm going to hear somebody's stuff and I'm going to look at it as an audio engineer, like, hey, that sounds good. Hey, that sounds, you know, the way it's supposed to be, or that don't sound the way that it's supposed to be. But I'm not going to critique a person on, you know, what they decided to write down as far as, you know, song content, the lyrics and things like that. Or, you know, at the most, like, I'll probably be like, all right, your cadence could have been different. Just regular audio engineering things, you know what I'm saying, that an engineer would say to an artist, that, you know, just to get the sound right. To me, where I'm at now, it don't necessarily have to be like exactly what you're saying, because I know if I like a song, I like it. If I don't, I don't. But, you know, I don't necessarily have to be like, oh yeah, that song was trash. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, agreed.
I can go at it in a different way. Like, yo, yeah, that was all right, but, you know, like, it just sounded off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sound like you didn't have the right EQ, or your compressor was pumping too hard, or, you know what I'm saying, you didn't have enough mixing on the full record to make it sound as complete as a record should. So, yeah, I feel like a music review for me wouldn't be like, it would still be a valuable, you know, thing for people to hear, but I just don't think that I'm gonna be in that position to where, like, yo, that was trash, you should do better. Or plus, first of all, I don't want to knock people. You know what I'm saying? Like, people put their heart and soul into, even if it is the wackest stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are taking their time to do that. So I just feel like I'm not gonna be the one to be like, yo, that joint is trash, go somewhere else. There's more credible people out there who can do that.
Very true, very true. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to a track here while we kind of take a breath, a little breathe, and then we're going to get back into it. We're going to ask 3 questions. We're both going to answer it and see how our opinions differ.
All right, let's get it.
So this is going to be Tag 'Em with Blackface.
Listen, do I keep a pack 9 strapped around my black waist? Just in case there's someone who don't like my black face. Just in case they say you don't belong here. Even if I'm not doing nothing wrong here. Like what I'm supposed to do if there's a father and a son. And they don't like the fact that I'm just out here on a run. And instead of calling the police, they just start some beef. And the next thing you know, they start to go and grab their guns. What if I'm quicker with the trigger and I refuse to let the situation get bigger? Cause way too many times we don't get away safely. Reach towards my Smith & Wesson, hit the switch up with the safety. Pop the father, pop the son, even pop a shot for fun. Call 911 with my cracked that phone. Tell the cops what I just done. Tell them they won't need to bring the paramedics. Cause I just got rid of a pair of headaches. And I'ma feel sick for the family of the deceased, and hope they know that the lives would not take it with ease. But it was either them or it was either me. I promise you on everything, I'm sad as had to be. I really tried to stay out, find another way out. It got ugly before I even waved, they got my hay out. Two white guys and one black guy, we know how that story plays out. Two white guys and one black guy, tell me how do my options lay out. Now as I stare at their bodies, thinking to myself, I ain't wanna hurt nobody. I even shed tears for his wife, but I hope I get to use the line I fear for my life. That's why I keep a 9 on my black waist, just in case there's someone who don't like my black face. Cause it seems the best way to not leaving that black curse is to have your pack gun and make sure you attack first.
Of course, once again, that was Blackface by Tag'em. Shout out
Shout
to
out
him.
to Tag'em.
That guy is super phenomenal. I've seen him perform several times, and he always puts on a show.
Need
every
to bring
time.
him up here, bro.
We working on it. We booked to the end of the year, so they
Once again, send all your requests, all your songs, and anything that you want to do, like as far as advertisement, to the notyetfamous@torrenzobrands.com email address.
And of course, you can always get that information on the Not Yet Famous Brands website on Facebook. And of course, you can always send that email. We're happy to have you. And just as a reminder to everybody, December 12th will be our 25th episode and the last live show we will do on Facebook.
Into YouTube, yo.
So after that date, all of our guests will be filmed here in Charlotte. We'll edit it down, and then we'll put it out on YouTube. The audio will be available on Apple iTunes and, of course, Spotify podcast. Very special announcement. I am working on it currently. We are going to find a local boys and girls home in the Charlotte area. That night of the 12th, we're going to accept Cash App donations to Not Yet Famous Brands. All the money that's collected, we will personally match up to $250. And we're going to take that money and go buy toys and necessities for a local shelter home for boys and girls. So I'm excited for that.
City, man. Got to donate.
You got to look out for Charlotte. You know,
For real.
That's
Charlotte's
where we
been
at.
good to somebody like me. I've been in Concord, Kannapolis, Charlotte area since 2005, man. Like basically from all my teenage years, other than when I went to college, and then when I came back, that's where I lived at. I feel like I grew up there, so you know what I'm saying. Definitely got to show love to the city.
I mean, I've lived all over North Carolina, and I find Charlotte to be one of the best places I've lived.
Charlotte
obviously
is fire,
Raleigh has a special place in my heart because that's where Not Yet Famous started.
Yeah.
But I love Charlotte. I love the city.
Charlotte is fire, bro. I'm telling you, like that's why I can't wait for COVID to shut down and the city to really open back up, because the summer nights in Charlotte, them weekends in Charlotte, yo, you can't get no better than that, man. I'm
gonna tell you what. I went out there last night. They opened up North Carolina at 30% for bars and nightclubs, and I'm gonna tell you what. It did not seem like 30% was at the clubs. It seemed like it was 60 or 70% at those clubs.
People was ready
they were
to get
piled
out.
in there, boy. They were not playing.
Man, Charlotte got a lot of creatives that like to be out here in these streets, who like to move around, who like to network with people. You know what I'm saying? Just got to be at the right spots at the right times. You know what I'm saying? That's why when it open up, it's going to be really dope. Like you got to take a trip down to the Nota area. Like when it's really nice, Nota is fire, Jeff. Like they have just like a whole art scene that's out there. That's mad cool. I just hope that a lot of the spots that was open before COVID actually get to open back up after COVID, because those are like those mom and pop spots and things like that. So,
well, sadly, a lot of the venues are not going to open back up. Yeah. A lot of them are going to shut down permanently. So if you have the funds available to do so, support your local music venue.
Definitely.
I know Poorhouse down in Raleigh is accepting donations to keep their building open. Cat's Cradle in Carborough, same thing. They've already lost 2 venues in Raleigh due to COVID.
Well, it's rough out there, man. When ain't nobody able to spend no money, ain't nobody able to come out, show support. It's hard.
It's crazy how rough it got. So fast, and it's craziness. So we're gonna jump into 3 questions. We're both going to answer. We're going to see what we have to say. So,
All right, well, just to let y'all know, if you just see me randomly smiling, like I got my niece over here, like I got her over here checking me out, you know what I'm saying? It was just a good day.
see, he gets
Bring her over.
distracted very easily.
What you mean? Like, yo, she just over here just like eye bugging me. So it's like, just make me smile. The fact that she able to see me do my thing, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to my niece, Jada.
Yep. So the first question, in the last 10 years of working with musicians, doing your own thing, what do you feel has been the hardest lesson that you've learned, and how has that changed your perspective on what you do?
The hardest lesson is that people is not going to put as much passion into a project as you will, because trust me, over the years since I've been in college, since I left college, like trust me, I've been in plenty of situations where I'm telling people like, yo, these are the things that we should be doing. These are the things that will get you noticed, even if it's not like the biggest things, but you know, it's just footsteps to get you closer to where you need to be. And I always put myself in a position to where I'm always putting in 100%, and other people isn't. Like I had like all my friends in college, you know what I'm saying? Like they definitely did their thing, like, and they're still doing their thing. But like I felt like at one time I was telling them like, yo, we could be out here killing this Raleigh circuit by being in all these clubs, like dropping these tapes everywhere, letting people know exactly who we are, where we're at. You know, we're in Wakefield, we're doing our thing. Like everybody better look out. But like a lot of people dropped the ball because they didn't want to be in certain clubs because that wasn't their environment that they're used to, or they didn't want to do this or they didn't want to do that. So it's like there were certain points where I was like, all right, well, I'm giving you what, you know, an idea to help you out, and, you know, you just don't want to do it. So you know, they still found success in other ways, but it was like we really could have locked down a college market, especially in Raleigh, North Carolina. You had freaking NC State, you had St. Augustine, you had freaking Central, you had, you know, all these colleges that was around it. Yeah, Shaw, all these colleges that was around there, and we was in college as well. It just made me think of like we could have been. I'm not saying that they was on the same wave or made the same type of music, but look at what was it, Travis Porter? Look what they was able to do when they was in their college market. All they did
You got to
was
utilize that because
exactly,
that opportunity is phenomenal.
For real, for real. So like these guys flooded the college market, and that's exactly what I was trying to do with some of the people that I was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? But it was like nobody wanted to just like really, you know, put it out there. They just did their thing in their own way, and we were supposed to be a collective. You know what I'm saying? But you know, as far as being in a collective, you have to understand that there's people who may not see everything the same way, or everybody don't have the same vision as, you know, everybody else who is trying to be a part of that collective or trying to make it, you know, bigger than what it is. That's why, you know, we kind of didn't survive. Like we're all still friends. We still like communicate with each other. We still holler at each other. But it was like, you know, just thinking back, like, man, like what if we would have did that? You know what I'm saying? Like
things would have been massively different.
You know what I'm saying? I remember one of my mans, I'm like, yo, dude, you got 300 songs on your computer. Like you could drop a mixtape every month and people just gonna be like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, my man, he had things going on, which was understandable. So, you know, he's still doing his thing to this day. And then just getting older, just realizing like, you know, people just is not going to do the same thing that you're going to do. They're not going to be willing to set aside all the stuff that is distracting them from making it to where they want to be. Because right after I got out of college, when I got back home, I've been here for a couple of years, ran into another situation, helping a couple artists out. And like, you know, they just couldn't stop, you know, the distractions to get them into where they needed to lock in and just make good music. Anytime they came to me, like I'm ready 100%. So I got beats ready, recording ready. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else is taking it that serious or being that, you know, that passionate about the craft because, you know, they got other things going on. So that's one of the hardest lessons that I learned. Like people is not going to be as passionate as you, and you just got to be around the same type of people who's going to take that passion and know how to move with it and just be willing to, you know, do everything they need to do to succeed.
Yeah. So for me, I think the biggest lesson that I learned was, you know, that you can't be the nice guy all the time. You know, sometimes, especially in this business, you have to have some thick skin. You know, I can recall back working with AJ Case where this man made me cry. Like, I mean, literally cry. You know, cursed me out for everything he had because I had fucked up. I did something that, you know, warranted him addressing it, you know, and I still remember that to this day. I was like 19 years old.
Well, shit, you was young, man, so it
I was
definitely hurt your feelings.
Young and dumb, so I had, you know, no thick skin back then. So, you know, I learned that in this business you have to go out there, have thick skin. You have to be willing to take a no.
Yep.
Because that's going to happen a lot in this business. And honestly, let's be real. That's in life. You know, in life, you're going to hear no a lot.
Man, listen,
You know,
that's the story of my life. I hear that every day on my job. The job I work for, I get no's all day. I'm still trying to work on how to handle that because, like, I'm trying to make that shmoney, you know what I'm saying? So me getting a no every day, it's like, bro, you messing up
Now,
my
what
bread.
is a shmoney?
Shmoney is that bread,
I'm just curious.
What are you talking about?
I know what money is.
It's just shmoney, nigga. Gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? It's just the hustle of trying to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Real.
Hey, to you. So the next question is going to be, in the course of your production career, what has changed technology-wise? Or in general, what do you think has changed over the years?
YouTube.
That was a quick answer.
YouTube, because real talk, I feel like everything that I've learned in college, shout out to Mr. Craig Brandywine, John Taylor, and all of them, as far as the fundamentals of sound, you being in classes, them giving me them charts to understand frequencies and things like that. I appreciate that, but I felt like, you know, that $88,000 that I spent there, I could have just been sitting on YouTube for the last, like, 10 years, learning the same exact thing. First of all,
and be $88,000 richer.
Richer, exactly. And then, first of all, like, I would have been learning my craft. Like, I was a black boy. I was a black kid in school who they only did, you know, country music, you know, pop music. I didn't have nobody to instruct me on how to even do hip-hop music as far as, you know, mixing it, you know, the foundations of production for hip-hop or R&B. I was just more learning how to mic up drums and, you know, mic up guitars and, you know, just fundamental studio stuff, which I appreciate. I definitely appreciate that. But, you know, the core values of where, you know, my production lies, like, I didn't learn that until, like, I really started watching YouTube and things like that. Because I would try to go to my teachers to try to get insight on what I should be doing on a certain type of record or for a certain type of thing that I'm trying to do. But they couldn't really tell me because they're telling me that is wrong because I need to do it this way and I need to do it that way, when really, like, it's a whole different world over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, whole different world. Like, we do things totally different than, you know, classical music, pop music, rock music, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. So I just think, like, technology in general, also just the capability of having that in your home, you know what I'm saying? That's what made me actually go to college, because I realized, like, I can do this at home. Like, I don't have to be in a multi-million-dollar studio to do this. So at least let me go get the fundamentals that I need so that I can at least understand recording, mixing, mastering, and things like that. So I gained all that, but I was really looking for that extra nudge and, like, you know, more of the hip-hop production and things like that.
More focus-driven.
Exactly.
Well, honestly, what I learned in that school, you know, obviously allowed me to do all this.
Yep.
You know, and set this up, you know, miking up a room. I would have never known how to do that previous to going to school. But, you know, for me, I think the big thing that I've seen change over the years, and we're talking about 15 to 20 years, has been the level of independence along with technology.
Yep.
You know, that now the technology has allowed for the artists to be more independent than ever before.
Forever.
You know, they're able to do things that they could not do back in 2001, 2002. You know, when you literally have to go hand to hand to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And forget about going overseas. You know what I'm saying? You had your bubble, you know, and if you wanted to go somewhere, you had to travel. You know, now the access to worldwide domination is at your fingertips.
Right at your fingertips. Your phone, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that, man, is available to any one of these artists who are trying to make an impact.
Yeah,
in the
I
music,
mean, the need of flying to London or
you don't need to do that.
You don't have to do that anymore.
If you got that much pull and within your market, within, you know, the fans that you have, if you could do a Zoom meeting, man, people would be satisfied with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild to me that we have come that far. Like, the labels aren't needed anymore. You know, labels are almost non-existent because you have artists out there that are making millions of dollars without a label.
For real, man. That's the truth. And they're doing it all on their own. Like, the one person that always come to mind when it comes to that is somebody like Russ, man. Like, people don't like Russ because of his attitude, the way that he is. You know, people think he's cocky and all that, but his path on making it was just, like, you know, one of a kind, because he just stuck with just producing his own music, recording his own music, and putting out a song a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? He put out a song a day for almost a whole year. And that's 365 songs he put out all he needed was one song to catch, and he got that one song to catch. But those core fans who done stood there from 1 to 365 are still with him, and those are the people who help build up his market. And now this guy Russ can put out an album, still do 50,000 streams his first week, still can go on tour, sell out arenas, 5, 6, 7,000 people. He's independent, so all that money's going in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and he's not even
May have to be paying his manager, but that's about it.
And tell you the truth, all that is basically in-house, so all the money is circling within themselves. So it's not like he's paying, it's a burden to be paying 20% or 15% out to a manager who you really don't know. He's probably giving it to his brother, you know what I'm saying, somebody that he grew up with, or somebody that he has a real connection with that was there from him there with him from the start. So the independent, factor of it has definitely changed these last couple of years, man. You're right.
Oh. And so, of course, the final question, over the next year, what is your goal? What do you want to see happen with yourself, your career? How do you want to see your life change in the next year?
Man, I just want to put my mom's up in a place to where, she don't have to worry about anything. That's just been my goal since I've been 16, man. It's just been hard just trying to make sure, she's been secure. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the years I got a lot of flack because I've been, doing what I had to do to make sure that my mom's is straight. I got 4 nieces and nephews. I try to take care of. I love them dearly. I do anything for them. So I'm just trying to be in a position to where, like I said, I can put my mom's up to where she don't have to worry about anything. She may not have to work. She can just worry about taking care of her health, taking care of her space. That way I can just really do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just hard when you got to take care of people and you actually have to work a day-to-day job. Yep. And you can't just get out there and grind because you got bills. If I was by myself, it's easy. I can sleep on someone's couch. I can go to Cali and stay with a friend, or I can be in New York.
Yeah, because Lord knows we know a couple people in Cali.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I can go down to Florida and do things, but I don't just have myself to worry about. Yeah. I have people who actually, if I don't do what I do, they'll be homeless. Yeah. So, I have to work my 9-to-5 job every day. So, within the next year or next coming years, I've been thinking I really want to start, building up my mixing business, because I can sit in the house and I can mix people records, and as long as they have a good recording space, they send it to me. I can go ahead and get it mixed. I can start a business that way. I really want to do recording, but right now I don't have the space for it, so I'm just tired of recording in the home studio and it doesn't come out the way that I want, because I'm too advanced for that. You know what I'm saying? I got all the knowledge, I got all the skills that I need. I just need the space. So those are the things that I'm looking into, and just hoping that something comes from this podcast, man. Because like I said, we've been putting in a lot of work.
Well, Lord knows the growth is showing.
Yeah, man.
We see it every week.
Exactly. You gave me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I try to show up every time,
and
be on time. You know what I'm saying? I try to give my all to this. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I give 100% to everything that I do. So if I could just take care of my mom, still be able to do the things that I need to do for my nieces and nephews and stuff like that, then I'll be happy. But just the simple success. You don't have to worry about things. Your bills is paid. You can go out and get what you want. You can go out, have the fun that you want. Don't got to be $1 million, $1 trillion, but, just comfortable and knowing that my family is good. Yeah. That's really all I'm looking for.
So I guess for me, I think the big thing is over the next year, I want to get Not Yet Famous on a complete college tour.
Word.
At least 25 cities, taking artists like Ty Harris, Real.
See, Ty Harris need that. I'm sorry.
Thailand.
Ty Harris need to travel all around the world and perform. I'm sorry. That's where he needs.
He has something special. He really does.
You, boy. And I remember when I first met Ty and he started rapping, I said, bro, you got just a unique flow. Anytime you jump on the track, people will know that it's Ty Harris. And I just wish that he get, the outlook that he needs, man, because he's a really dope artist, man. For real.
I tell you what,
he's been doing it for years.
Come hell or high water, Not Yet Famous.
At a high level too.
Yeah, and come hell or high water, Not Yet Famous will be on the road at some point. And so that's my biggest thing over the next year. Obviously I don't think too far out. I'm constantly thinking as far as ahead of time, and 2 years, 5 years, what needs to be accomplished. But you got to focus on what's directly in front of you. And of course, with that being said, we are on the end cap of the Not Yet Famous podcast already.
That was pretty quick.
It was quick. Couple quick reminders to everybody. Next week, we're gonna have Shame Gang on the Not Yet Famous podcast. I can't wait to talk to him about his latest video release called Enough in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm super excited to talk to him and get more inspiration from him on how he put that together. It's an amazing video. I had the privilege of being a part of it. Can't wait to have him on next week. As a reminder, make sure you submit your music, guest inquiries, or your advertising. Great place to advertise your upcoming record release, your business, any of those things. So shoot us an email, notyetfamous@torrenzobrands.com. And, of course, remember to go hard, grind daily, and get famous.
Peace out, peoples.